Good Monday morning, YouTubies. It's Labor Day 2019. What is that? September 2nd, 2019. Yay. Got a lot of farm chores to get done today. My buddy Gary's showing up. Plus I got to go do a side job later this afternoon, evening. So got an early start to today's actions. Just got done with breakfast and whatnot. Time to feed the boys, the horses, and then I need to work on the electric fence because something ain't right. I'm not getting the voltage that I require. So got some work to do. We'll take you along as I go. See ya. Bye. Got done with my morning chores. Fed the boys, fed all the horses, dropped them some hay, did some harrowing, got all the chores done. And on my last video I said I needed to go look at the horse fence and figure out why I'm losing, sorry, kind of holding the camera and I'm not used to doing that. So anyway, wanted to look at the fence and figure out why I'm losing so much voltage from the source to the outlying areas. I think I've got a short somewhere. So I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. It's super stupid easy. But in the process of doing that, I got bunnified and forgot that I have yet to get off my butt and finish that little electrical project. And for those that have been watching the YouTube channel for a while and seen my wife's channel, you guys would know that I used to have this great big huge monstrosity 30-foot light pole that was here. It did not belong to the local power company. They did not drop it. The previous homeowner put it here, didn't do a very good job of wiring it. Turns out that the wire was frayed, and when the guys were out here working on the new barn pad, they got zapped. That's the best way I can put it. So I used the truck, I used the big red, and I pulled it out of here, filled it up, used some pipe and an outdoor box, and got an outdoor lid here, and I'm going to make it weatherproof. But the pole was tied into the house electrical system with no switch. We don't know how the light ever worked to begin with. It never worked since we bought the house, but anyway, I've tested it. It gets 120 volts. It gets it from the man cave's power supply. So I figured with Christmas time, you know, a couple weeks down the road, wife loves to do Christmas lights. So she likes to also give Darcy haircuts and whatnot, and why not just give her a power outlet out here? So that's what I'm going to do. And so I'm going to put you guys on hold for a little bit. I'm going to get this taken care of, and then in the hottest part of the day, of course, I'm going to sit down and try to figure out what's going on with the fence and how to get it juiced up a little bit. 5.5 volts is enough to get the horse's attention to make them not test the fence. But this puppy should be in the neighborhood of 7.5 to 8 minimum. And I need to figure out where it's having a problem. So see you guys in just a minute. All right, well, I suppose I ought to preface this with saying, if you're new to electrical work, don't let this bother you too terribly much. It's super easy to do. Don't get, you know, don't, what do they say? Keep it simple, stupid, right? So it's stupidly easy to do this. Obviously, the first thing you want to do is go to the main breaker, turn off the power. Don't need to get yourself electrocuted. Turn off the main breaker, and if you're still in doubt, then go get yourself a voltmeter. Every man should have a voltmeter. Doesn't matter how fancy it is, as long as it tells you whether or not there's voltage. But measure the voltage across the common and the alternate. Common's usually always black. That's your source. That's the power coming in. White is always the alternate. Usually, depends who do your wiring, but white is the alternate, which means that's what goes back to the circuit breaker. That's what creates or completes the circuit. And then of course you got your ground. Okay, so measure the voltage across the two. Measure the voltage across the ground and the source. Make sure there's no shorts, etc., etc. Because this is going to be an outdoor plug that might be exposed to dampness, I'm going to use a GFI. GFIs you typically find inside the house in the bathrooms, and it's just so that if it senses moisture or whatnot, it trips at the plug versus tripping the breaker. So in other words, if there's a problem, this will trip and it'll give you a chance to figure out what's going on with it. You know, it's got a dummy light. It's got a good light and a what I call a dummy light to let you know, hey dummy, I've reset. So anyway, check the voltage and install from there. So that's what we're going to do here in the next couple minutes. You'll see it's got a nice ground screw in there, so we'll tie the ground not only to the plug but to there as well. Got an outdoor plate, got all the tools that we need, and we'll get started on this in just a few seconds. Alright, so here we are sitting out in the hot sun baking our buns. You'll see over there in the distance I got a small little brush pile going on. What used to be all right here was a bunch of juniper, and the wife didn't like it, so she ripped it all out when we had the foundation for the barn laid, and so they dumped it over there. That's not where I would have put it, but they dumped it over there. I'm trying to get rid of it, so I'm burning it. So if you see smoke in the background, trust me, it's not me getting electrocuted, it's just a brush fire. So voltmeter, we talked about this a minute ago. Get a good one. This one does both DC, AC, ohms, continuity, the whole shebang. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over to 200 AC volts, and I've gone ahead and killed the breaker out of the main house, so I know that it's not got juice to it, but just to be safe, I'm going to touch, and it's going to read 0. I'm going to touch, it reads 0. So basically you can now grab it and not get zapped. Okay, so turn your little voltmeter off, get your little plug ready, and again, this is a GFI. On the back of the GFI it will tell you load, line, but it'll tell you how it basically goes. And remember, they're interconnected, so you don't need to do a whole lot of craziness to it. But basically just take your screws, back them out to where you can get some room in there, and take your wire and push that puppy on in there. Now this one you can actually push inside. I don't particularly care for those kind of plugs, those kind of connections, because you'll pay hell trying to ever get it loose again. But basically with this one, you just, you know, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to actually make a little loop. Some plugs you don't have to do that, some plugs you do. This one, I'm just going to make it super easy on myself. Well, because it's new, it doesn't want to stay out. There we go. So I'm going to basically, I don't know if the camera picks that up, put it in there, and then I'm going to tighten it. And I'll go stupid tighten it, but you know, make it tight. A lot of people don't remember, AC will actually, it kind of vibrates, and so, you know, over the course of the years or whatnot, that could back out. So just kind of snug it, okay? Yeah, and so going to loosen the top one. There we go. And I'm going to do a little, just a little curlicue right there. I probably should have stripped this wire back just a little bit further, but you know, it is what it is. So come on, get in there. You can do it. Now, when I showed the tools that I was going to use earlier, I did not show you that I was going to use a pair of needle nose pliers. And shame on me, but I'm going to use the needle nose pliers and a flat tip screwdriver to kind of push it up in there. You'll thank me for it. What did I do with the Phillips? What did I do with the Phillips? Right there. I'm an idiot. So then we're going to tighten that bad boy down. I ran a ground wire to the box. I did that off camera. Didn't think you guys needed to see that. That was pretty simplistic, I think. So I'm going to wrap that ground around that ground wire. Nice and tight. And then that Ground's going to go underneath. We're going to make sure that that's in there nice and good. And again, I'm going to use the needle nose pliers just to kind of twig it just a little bit. There we go. Tighten that ground down. Cut off any excess that I might not need. Take my flat tip. There we go. So this puppy is now wired. I'm cool with that. I'll take this excess wire that I don't need, kind of push it up in there, making sure nothing's touching. Looking good. Alright. So now basically I can tighten that up and put that in there. Now before I do all that, I want to see how this box needs to line up. And so this box comes with a hinge that you can push out. And I've never taken one of these apart yet, so I don't know if I'm going to end up breaking it here. Nope, little plastic pin comes off. And that's so that you can change your mind as to whether or not you want it to be a top load or a side load. Okay, top load, side load. So the reason why I did that is I wanted to see how this is going to line up. And what we need to do is to take these mounting screws out. Man, is it hot out here. Saw somebody putting pumpkin spice latte in their coffee yesterday. That means fall's coming, right? Could have fooled my butt. Holy crap, is it warm out here. Now, make sure there's no dirt. Line that up. Could we be fortunate enough where that does not have to come out all the way? Yes, we are. We are fortunate enough. So, this box has a little slide mechanism in it, so you can get the bolt in behind there, get the bolt in behind there. You don't have to take these all the way out, which is good, because I don't like taking those all out. So, don't get in a hurry. Just take your time. Do it right. Okay, so doesn't help that for some reason I seem to have the shakes. And that can come out a little further. There we go. Let's try that. So, that puppy's going to be a pain in the butt. Try not to get any dirt on your foam. That's what makes your seal. So try not to get any dirt on it. Okay, we got the first one in. And now we'll go for the second one. Okay, so we got those in. Now I got one of them in, the other one popped back out. So what I'll do at this point, we'll kind of tighten that up just a little bit. Remember on the back, it's got this little plastic washer slash nut. that you can gently kind of screw this in. You just want to take a little bit of the slack out. Same thing here. I'm just going to take a little bit of the slack out. There we go. Okay, and so now what we could do is kind of gently massage this into place to where it needs to go. Kind of push that wire in just a little bit. Okay, and now take your little screw hole, line it up. Let's get a decent bite on that. Same goes for the bottom one. Line the hole. And just kind of walk back and forth with it. And then kind of push in, make sure it lines up the way you want it to. And just keep tightening. And again, same situation. Stop every couple minutes and a couple turns. Make sure you're getting a nice level seal. And you'll know when you get there, because it'll get tight. And I want to push on it one more time, make sure it's lined up the way you want it to be. Now see, my box is going to move, and if you concreted this in and etc., yours probably won't move. Mine's going to move until I get done with this project right here. Once I get this project done, all that'll be pushed in and it won't move anymore. But for the moment, I just want a loose fitting. And don't go stupid and over tighten in these, and then you'll strip out your bolts. And you run the risk of cracking your plastic, and then you have a leak. Okay? So at this point, it's done. All I gotta do is put the cover plate back on it. What I am gonna go do real quick is I'm going to go put my tools away, and except for the voltmeter, and I'll come back out here and we'll throw a voltmeter on it, make sure it reads 120, and we'll go from there. Be right back. Same thing. We're going to throw the voltmeter on it real quick, and I'm trying to remember if I tripped the breaker or not. I turned the breaker back on inside the house. Can't remember if I did or not. So what we're going to do here is we're going to hit the test button and then hit reset, and what we should have now is, lo and behold, boys and girls, 120. Well, 118, but your household stuff is between 115 and 120, so that is well within threshold. We're going to check the upper plug, and I'm farting around with the wires here. I got one. There we go, 120. So this plug is now live. She can do her Christmas lights on her trailer. She could do trimming. I talked earlier about an early video about how she likes to use trimmers on Mr. Darcy, because he never lets go of his coat of fur, and so she uses the trimmers to give him a haircut. You know, like twice a season. So this is the weatherproof lid. This is important. Obviously, kind of self-explanatory. Fits right on top and clamps. So what we're going to do is very gently put this little plastic push pin back into it. Very gently, because you don't want to break the tabs, right? So very gently. Line it up. And one more good push. There we go. Got a click. And now you close the lid, and that puppy is now weatherproof. So it's not insect proof. Don't be surprised if you find a spider or two up in there one of these days. But just reach over, pop the latch, plug in what you got to do, and go to town. Talked about this in the previous video. It's kind of jiggly at the moment, and that's because I haven't finished with all this, and I might want it sitting over here, I might want it over here. So for the moment, it's loose, and that's fine. It's acceptable, but it's now safe, wired. She can use it, and I'm going to go down yonder and check on that brush pile one more time, and then we'll move on to looking at the horse's electric fence. So, hope you learned something. See ya. So on today's episode of In the Creek Without a Paddle,